Greetings, lovelies. Alright, so this is Chloe, and I'm doing Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot, and it is so late. I should stop and just do this after I've slept, but I'm really afraid I won't have time tomorrow, so we're going to do this. This is for day 24 and 25, and it's for day 24, it's what tarot deck would you, do you wish existed? I actually think it would really be fun, and I don't know if these exist already or not, and if they do, please, give a comment if you know. I think a Doctor Who deck would be awesome because that show's been running forever, and I think you could either do some combination of each suit being a different Doctor Who, or in different one in the majors or something, the companions, the enemies. There's just so much variety in the majors, or even in the suits, the court cards. I mean, yeah, that there's just so much fodder and situations and characters and so many different doctors to work with, that I think you can make a pretty interesting deck with Doctor Who deck. Then another idea I like is Firefly. I don't know if you do a tarot or an oracle deck, but I think between the cast and the different scenarios they went through and some of the supportive guests, that you could do a pretty fun either majors only or an oracle deck with the Firefly crew and some of the things they went through in that show. It was only one season, but there was quite a bit, or even a Browncoats one. The community of the Browncoats who are fans of the Firefly, combined with Firefly itself in the movie, I think you could get a pretty good tarot or oracle deck going with them. And then finally, I think I would really love a triple realms, land, sea, sky, and the blender fire, as an oracle or a tarot. I think it'd probably be easier to do as an oracle rather than a tarot. Maybe something focusing on animism. I don't care if there's gods or goddesses or not, but like animals mixed in, something like that. And it could even be shamanic, not necessarily Celtic, or some mixture thereof. I just think it would be cool to have a different system instead of I mean, the closest I found is the mystical cats with sky and sea, and then fire and earth. But I'm talking land, sea, sky, with fire being the blender and some other working. So it'd probably more likely be an oracle. But yeah, I'd really love to see something like that. Or maybe I'll have to invent it myself. I don't know. But that's what I wish would exist. And then, let's see. So I'm enjoying textures right now. My brain is a little bit on fire. My cat's been knocking down things and I haven't been able to sleep. So I just thought, let's do something productive. Okay, so I think that's all I can think of for decks. But for day 25, if I could read the tarot for 5 different people, famous, historical, alive, or past, or fictional characters, who would it be and why? Now, I'm not sure about all the whys, but the people I would like to read for say, let's see, what was it? Famous? I think I'd like to read for Sandra Bullock. I admire her very much. She's a comedian, and she's had a lot of things happening in her life that have not all been easy. And also she was one of the characters in Practical Magic, and I admire her for doing that movie. So I really would think it would be awesome to do a reading for Sandra Bullock. That, I guess, would be a famous person. There's a couple other ones too. Like, I would really love to do a reading for the African American lady who refused to get off the bus and sat in a different part of the bus. I can't remember her name, unfortunately. Oh, the name totally slips my mind right now. But it would be interesting to have done a reading before she did that, to maybe give her an idea of how safe she would be, protesting in such a way, or after, to see how the fallout would be. Either or, it would be interesting. Um, Another person historically I would love to read for is Winston Churchill. Kind of like doing, it would be like doing a reading for Napoleon or his lady, that Madame Lenormand did. As we know, there are some decks who's created after her or named after her. She didn't use the Lenormand herself, but she had some kind of notes on divination that the Lenormand springs from or has been, yeah, essenced from. So I think Winston Churchill, he was so integral to his part in the efforts in the World War. I think it was World War One. I can't remember, World War One or two, whichever one he was part of. That would be a fascinating reading to see how things would go and the perspective. I mean, I know we know so much history about it now, but it would be really fascinating to see how a reading would have gone for him. And then, let's see. Oh, for a fictional character, Sherlock Holmes. Okay, I would love to root for Sherlock Holmes. He'd either really give me a hard time about the whole situation, or he'd totally look at things from a different perspective and analyze my technique and show how maybe parts of my technique weren't really psychic, but more like reading body cues, like he kind of does. Which I admit, in some ways, I feel like there is some body reading that I do some of the time. But I also have had readings that were totally out there that I would never have been able to get from body reading. So it would be really interesting to go and read, not go against, but read for Sherlock Holmes and have him analyze my style in the process. Because you know he totally would. Just think about him. He would be like, if you think about the way Sherlock Holmes is being modeled after that BBC show that's been out in the last little bit here, yeah, I could totally see how that would go. It would be hilarious and maybe a little insulting, but also pretty fascinating to see him analyze the technique of getting of a tarot reader and what they were doing, or even a psychic. Okay, so I think that Professor is it McGonagall or McGonagall, the female professor that changed from a cat into a woman, she I really enjoyed her character, and I feel like she was pretty straight faced, and then occasionally she'd be kind, or she just had so many different aspects of her personality that I enjoyed in the story, in the books. There's a couple other characters in Harry Potter I would also like to read, but the professor is one of them that I would. The female professor is one of them that I would love to read for. And then if I was to pick another famous person who is alive today and more modern, I would say Keanu Reeves for a guy I would like to read, a famous person. Um, I yeah, I've always liked him. Um, yeah, I just think he'd be fun to read for. And let's see. Oh yeah, the preacher from another character I thought would be fun to read would be the preacher, um, or the what do they call him on the show from Firefly? The guy who plays the religious dude, preacher, or what do they call him? They call him one word, minister, not minister, preacher, or something like that. I just think it would be kind of funny to read for him. I don't know how he would take me trying to read for him. And I think it would be kind of funny to see how he reacted or what would come up for him. Like, we know he dies in like the movie Firefly, Serenity. And to do a reading for him before that happened, and the stuff that he might face, I think that would be interesting. And then yeah, that's all I can think of. Sherlock Holmes, Sandra Bullock, Winston Churchill. Yeah, Professor Keanu Reeves and Preacher. Yeah, those are the ones I would like to read for. That's all I can think of. All right, it'll be neat to see who my fellow vloggers would like to read for. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Peace out and look forward to seeing everybody's videos. Bye bye.